There's nothing wrong with being broke, homie. There's only wrong with someone being poor, because poor is a mindset. Broke is just a temporary situation that you could fix. But being poor, that's a mind state that most can't change.
Welcome to Road to Billions podcast, the mentality of an entrepreneur. With your host, Moise Bertrand.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is your host, Moise Bertrand, the Road to Billions podcast. It's been an amazing journey, you guys, and I appreciate every last one of you guys for listening and tuning in on a podcast, of which, of course, I just love sharing information and knowledge. So over these last couple of weeks, man, I've been working on some really great projects, meeting really great people, and I decided to come back and give you guys the information I learned from them and also the things I've been learning, because that's one of the biggest things about real estate and entrepreneurship, about podcasting, about being a man and stuff like that. You got to learn things on your own sometimes, unfortunately, but it's always good to know certain things because you can always pass that knowledge down to somebody else, right? You could lead somebody, you could give somebody your honest opinion, a great advice, and, that could impact somebody's life, for the good or the better. In my situation, I like to do it for the better. So let's get straight to it. Diversifying your portfolio. Everybody here isn't rich and everybody here isn't poor. So I like to talk about a little bit something down the middle. When you're getting into making money for yourself, right, and even earning a certain type of money, you always got to put aside a certain type of money. A lot of people don't like facing the fact that if you see too much money, you're not going to blow it all. And that's very much not the case. If you see too much money, you might blow all of it because it's like an experience that you don't want ever to last, right? You think it's ever going to be there. You think the money you're going to make is forever going to be coming in, and you just think everything's going to work itself out with one stream, and it's not like that. It will never be like that. For some people, they get lucky, but for others, not so lucky, right? So I like to get people into the realm of, let's not play lucky, let's play smart. Let's play comfortable. Let's play stability, right? And I'm always about making the right choices. I'm always about like looking at the bigger point of view, the bigger picture and stuff like that, even the bird's eye view, the small details. And when you diversify your portfolio, you can't be afraid to lose money in one sector while making money in the other. You're diversifying it. Because if you would have put all eggs in that one that you would have been losing money in, now you're fucked up. But you still have that other one to balance out. And I want to compare this to real estate because as an investor, we don't always buy the same house, right? We might buy a 3-1, a 3-2, a 4-2, a duplex, a triplex, a quadplex, an apartment, and all these things play a big factor in how you're going to make money, right? Because the quad may not make money for a couple months. You might be like, how the fuck? It's four units. You don't know what could have happened. The unit that probably could be making you the most stable income, sadly, might be the single family, right? Because the quad might have situations, even though that's very irrealistic, because you still have 4 people paying and the other 3 people don't pay, you still got 1 paying. So you're always going to be making some type of money, even if you pay the mortgage off, right? But that's why I like to compare, you feel me? Giving you guys real life scenarios. And I recommend people to always have a set of armory is what I call it, just in case if you don't have no money, but you have this here. And if you have money here, you have this here. And I call that the armory, right? This is called road to billions. So when you're on the road to billions, you got to understand you have to be in everything. You have to put your hands in everything. You can't just put your hands in everything, but you got to put your hands in things that you feel comfortable about, that you could control, right? That you could see the progress of. I don't want my money in no damn insurance policy that I can't tap into right now. They tell you got to wait a couple weeks, a couple days. I don't need that money in a couple of days. I need that money right now. You get me? I want to see the progress of that. I want to see everything. And I tell people it's okay just to do things different. You don't have to follow what everybody else is doing. You start getting to insurance company life insurances when you start making a decent type of money because you have index, right? And you have to still put money in every month. But where is that money going to be coming in if you don't have a job, right? So this is where I tell people this is where you start getting smart. So you have a few things that's going on in the world today that a lot of people are being oblivious about. That's what I'm going to call it because it's been around, it's still going up, and it's going to continue going up. And by the time people figure it out, it's going to be done where it's going to be cooked. Just like anything in life. Once too many people find out about it, it's cooked. So you have something we have called Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin has been making a lot of noise in the cryptocurrency exchange. And for you guys who don't know what crypto is, it's pretty much a coin that is now used, a decentralized coin, meaning is not controlled by anything. It doesn't have a bank. It doesn't have an original. It doesn't have an ending. It's literally just money in the air. Is digital money, currency. And people have been using this to send and receive money and travel across the country and purchase things and do transactions that could be either good or bad. But this is a set of currency that is not governed by the government. So that's why it's feeling like the people's coin, right? Because people can't really control what do you do with this type of money that they don't know where it's coming from, where it's stored at. You can't really tap into it unless you have something called the wallet. And these things have been going up in value over the last 10, 15 years when it first came out. And what makes it go up in the value is people buying into it. People selling it, people dumping it, people using it for over and over. And over time, it goes up in value because more people are acquiring it, which means the volume of it is going up, which means the demand for it is going up as well because the more people that buy it drives up the price, right? Supply and demand. And if you guys haven't been noticing, a lot of countries have been using cryptocurrency, not just for using that as a government thing now. You know, I believe it was El Salvador. Don't quote me on this. I'm going to come back to this. But I believe El Salvador was one of the countries that actually is allowing purchases with Bitcoin, right? And we think about the other countries that are starting using this as well. Like USA that has been talking about, you know, Kamala Harris and the whole new presidential election, and Trump has also been doing little things about how he just bought, I believe, a burger with Bitcoin. And so El Salvador, you could buy Bitcoin, you could buy real estate in Bitcoin, right? And I believe that's some other things as well that's been going on as well. But Bitcoin is one of those things that these countries are looking more and more into. And I tell people, if a country start buying up shit that is quote unquote imaginary, that people want to call it, so many people want to call it. And I just say people call that because they don't understand. That's the whole theory of it. When people don't understand, they look to point fingers, they look to disrupt, they look to interrogate when they don't understand. Because in order to understand, you have to be, once again, naive. You have to be, once again, a student. And a lot of people feel like they can't be taught. So those people are left behind. And Bitcoin and Ethereum are one of the best. I'm gonna start naming some coins that I heard and also that I'm actively investing in as well that people have been giving me to drop on, right? So I'm not going to just tell you guys about Bitcoin. So you got Bitcoin, you got Ethereum, right? Ethereum is another one that you could use transactions and stuff like that. You have Litecoin, right? You have Solana. And then, you know, some people, they could care to argue, I'm not really a big fan, but you have Dogecoin, right? That made a crazy run, I believe, in 2022 or something like that, when it drove the internet by crazy masses. But Bitcoin, ETH, Ethereum, Litecoin, Solana, and Dogecoin are one of the few that are still making some great stability changes and growth in their sector, right? And also 88 coin. I believe that's Solana, but if it is not, that's 88, another one too. But yeah, man, I try to tell people, like, if you see people buying things, remember, like, you got to see how much of a quantity they're buying it in. And these countries been buying it in boatloads, man. So I try to tell people the new universal way of buying and exchanging things are now through Bitcoin and sooner or later through other cryptocurrencies. And that will just definitely deregulate how the government is ran and how the new world order, as you guys could hear what they've been calling that, a system for decades and shit like that, could really be put into place if, you know, the government gets in control of this. If they figure a way how to make their money off this shit, people are cooked. You get me? So that's one of the things I tell people, just buy into it so your value of the money goes up. So if you do cash out, you cash out pretty hefty. Cool? Credit cards. I mean, not credit card, credit scores. So I tell people all the time, if you have bad credit, 500 to 600 is what I consider bad credit. You might be like, why 600, man? It's still above, because you're borderline 599, you're borderline 600. That's just the reality of it. You're borderline, right? You barely made the cut. But I don't want to make the cut. I want to be like the first point I want to be the first choice, right? I don't want to be the person who people are, all right, I'll just, no, I want to be the person they be like, you know what, we can't disqualify him because his credit is 720, 750. He's overqualified, right? So you want to take care of the credit. And I don't care if you have a 10K bill, 30K bill, 5K bill, 1K bill. You look at that bill and you look at how you could break it down into steps of achievement. If you have a 10K bill, break it down, man. Try to see if you could pay $500 for the first 2 months, which is $250. You might give yourself a break, and then hit it again with $1,000 payment. Bam, $1,500. You're not going to see the change until you start really getting around the $7,000, $6,000 range. You feel me? Because when you have a 10K bill, I'm not going to lie to you, it seems and it sounds pretty crazy when you have a $10,000 credit card bill. But if you break that down into steps of realistic, right? You tell yourself no vacations, no fun. You're just knocking this shit down. You know, this is a reality that you have to face. You'll be done with that shit in 10 months if you do $1,000 a month. But let's just say you don't have $1,000 a month, you do $500 a month. You still breaking that shit down into 2 years. You feel me? And it's okay to do something that you feel like you didn't want to do, or you said, man, fuck this, I don't want to do it. You still have to feel like you have to do it because this is your life. This is your livelihood. And I tell people all the time, you can't do nothing in life without good credit. I don't give a fuck if you try to buy a house. I don't care if you try to go get a payday loan from the neighborhood store clerk. The credit is what's going to make you qualified or unqualified. And it's unfortunate that a lot of people who are probably in great jobs now and make tons of money haven't dedicated themselves to paying their credit card off, right? Because a lot of people, I'm not going to sit here and call people broke. I feel like no one's broke. I feel like if you're able to eat food every day out, you know, some people are spending hundreds a month out, you feel me, in restaurants, going out. And that's the type of food I'm talking about eating. I'm not talking about food you cook in the house, a necessity. I'm talking about a want. Out, you having fun. You're not serious. You're gonna keep saying, I mean, but we could die tomorrow. But yeah, but what happens when you have kids and you don't have nothing to fall back on for them? They don't have nothing to fall back. Like my dad didn't have a credit card, so I couldn't use any of it. Or my mom didn't have. You know, you're gonna start saying things like that to yourself if you have kids. Like, what are they gonna fall back on? Life insurance. If I don't have any money coming in, I can't pay no life insurance policy. You know, I can't have no certain thing. I can't have certain access to certain type of funding and better accessibility to rates and everything if I have a bad credit score. You just can't do a lot with it, right? And even though if you have the money, they still want to see where you got the money from. So now you are still obligated to show the amount of money you have in your account and where you're getting this money from, and also your credit. So you can't beat the system, you guys. And I try to tell people it's okay if you have a big ass credit score or a low credit score. I want you to have no debt. And if you have debt, I want it to be minimum $1,000, $1,500. Cool, that's manageable. But I don't want you guys saying, listen, I got a $30,000 credit card debt that I'm in. Save me. Because I'm going to ask you, what made you go over 10K? Yeah, I had to pay for school. All right, that's reasonable, 15K. All right, what are you doing now? Okay, I'm a nurse. Cool, nurses make $2,800 a week. $2,800 every 2 weeks, $2,000 a week, depending on how fast she works, depending on how hard she works. She's going to be clearing $90,000, $80,000 a year. You could pay that credit card off in 4 months, 3 months if you have a $5,000, $10,000 bill. You feel me? But it depends on what you're doing now. And if you aren't making money, you got to figure a way how to bring that money in. You got to either get a job, you know, you either got to have a business that's doing numbers. And once you're paying down your credit, you're able to tap into more credit, right? You're able to tap into more things that have a better opportunity to advance in your life, business loans and all that good stuff. So you can't do a lot of stuff without credit. And I try to urge people to make steps towards paying that bill down, even though if it's a big ass bill, because we all been there, we all felt it, we all understand how it feels to see that hovering in your head and you can't sleep at night because you're tossing and turning because you think the debt collector is about to call you again and shit's all over the place. It's an unbearable feeling, right? So you don't want to go through that feeling. You don't want to go through those sleepless nights, sweatful nights, you know, sweating, you know, not knowing how you're going to pay this damn debt off, let alone having collections on your credit card. So you want to be in the realm of knowing you could knock it down, knowing you could pay it off. You want to set a goal. If I was you, I'll ask ChatGPT, bro, how to pay down my $10,000 credit card debt in 6 months. Give me a plan. Give me a realistic plan, or a year. And it's going to give you shit like that. See, technology wasn't like this 10 years ago. You had somebody mentoring, you had somebody advising, you had somebody walking you through every step to how to budget properly. But now we have access to the information, whether it's books, online, TV, YouTube, ChatGPT, TikTok. We have all these things that are at our fingertips, right? So I don't see how somebody could complain about not being able to connect with somebody, not being able to figure something out, not be able to know how to do certain things. Everything is out there. Now, if you have money, you pay for the convenience. If you want to live in first class, if you want to stay in first class, by all means, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you got the money to pay for certain shit, do it. Meaning if you have money to not work a job and you still could do business, do it, right? If you have that income that is coming in, is taking care of shit, do it. I'm not telling you not to do anything. All I'm saying is, what's the biggest problem in your life right now, right? And it might be the credit, because I don't know too many people with above a 700. I'm not trying to say people around me don't really have it going on, but some people probably prefer cash over credit. I don't know why. They feel like if they have a lot of cash, they still secure. And yeah, that's true, because like I said, cash is king, but credit is also king. And you can't go get that new car you want without putting a lot of money down. If you got it, you're gonna wax yourself, right? And you still got to be able to have good credit to have those monthly payments. So it comes down to how are you looking at yourself from a financial point of view, right? And the other thing is land. Once you get the credit situation figured out, like I always tell you guys before, business, credit cards, personal loans, go knock those out, go get those out, and go cash out and go really go get some investments and assets under your name. But once you have that cash from the credit cards, man, go buy you some land. I prefer you can need some land for $4,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000. It doesn't have to be no 30, 40, 50, 100,000 like some people over exaggerate or even make it seem like that you have to go get. But just buy something. You feel me? It's not something that's not being it's not being made. It can't be made. It's not something people go buy from the store and place it on there and be like, I land. No, you have it. You own a piece of it. It's part of the earth. You own it. So when I tell people it's easier said than done. Because a lot of people say, I want to go buy land, I want to buy a house, I want to get credit cards, I want to get Bitcoin, I want to invest. But you got to make some type of sacrifice, whether it's drinking, whether it's drugs, whether it's partying, whether it's being bougie and shit like that. Oh, I'm not eating that. I'm not, whatever you want to call your vice, you got to knock it out, because that's what's keeping you from achieving your highest level of success, from income, from happiness, from all the things you might consider blessings. You're keeping yourself away from it, right? You want that new car, but you can't put down the freaking hookah. You got to go to the club every week and spend $150 to $250. That adds up to $1,000 a month. That could have been going towards your new car. Yeah, you see how I broke that down to y'all? $1,000 a month and fun. Fuck that. I'd rather buy that in happiness. If I know I could spend $1,000, $300 round trip, $200 Airbnb, another $300, for that trip. That's $1,000 a month if I'm doing that vacation wise, right? But if I want a car, that's $1,000 a month. It may not be $1,000, maybe $500, $600 a month. But I party so much, I make so much wrong decisions that I'm looking at myself like, if I buy this car, it's gonna be a bad decision. I shouldn't feel like that. I should feel like, you know what? I did the work. I got the credit right. I got my money put up. Let me go get this damn car because I can afford it. Then let's go party after to really show how you pop these damn bottles. Yeah, we're going to get the cars. We're going to get the assets first. We're going to get our name right. We're going to get our paperwork right. We're going to get everything right first before we go buy this car. And when we go buy this car, don't think it's buying it because we showboating. We buying this car because we work hard for it. We made the right decisions, and we got our financial life in order, right? So when I see people with nice cars that could afford them, and I talk to them all the time, they're like, yeah, I got 2-3 cars. And I'm like, you know what? You're doing your thing, brother. You're doing your damn thing, because it makes sense when you have your life in order. Why not spoil yourself? But don't do it reverse. Don't try to have fun to make yourself feel good and then you can spoil yourself. Like, let me go to the club because I had a great day at work. That's cool, but why not sit at the crib, cook yourself a nice little lamb chop, feel me, and make some wine and, imagine yourself at a dinner where now your new bill is going to be $1,000. Your new type of luxury is somebody picking you up from your house and taking you into a black truck and driving you to your dinner, and you wearing this nice diamond ruby dress. I don't know, sparkled emerald. I don't know, a dude with a nice Tom Ford suit. Whatever you imagine as luxury, as happiness, as blessings, you got to first make the sacrifice for it, people. And every day, man, every day I look outside, man. I see people who are chasing their dreams, and I see people who just gave up in life. And it hurts me because I know I could probably help them. But helping too many people where I'm not where I'm supposed to be at, where I'm not at, where I want to be at, is gonna drag me down. It did it in the past, and I'm not doing it over again. And I'm not trying to say that with no selfishness. I'm not trying to say that with no type of arrogancy. I just feel like in order to save other people, you have to save yourself first, right? I can't swim, so why would I jump in water and try to swim and try to save somebody? I can't. Unfortunately, you know the end of it. We're both dead, if not one of us. So I try to keep my head above water, and I try to keep people into reality, right? No one's going to come save you. If you have a man that's taking care of you, great. Everybody don't have that, reality, or everybody don't have that liberty. If you have a girl that's really doing her thing, great. Everybody don't have that blessing. Everybody don't have that reality. So what you do with your situation is what you do. My situation is different from yours. Your situation is different from mine. So I can't sit here and tell you what's best for you. The only thing I can just tell you is tell you what to focus on. I got to tell you what to focus on. What's causing that loud ruckus in your head? What's causing you them sleepless nights? That's what you focus on, right? Because people want to say, oh, yeah, you don't got to focus on that. Just go to sleep. Don't worry about your problems. You won't wake up the next day, the problem's still going to be there. And it's going to be louder. It's going to be louder. And by the time you know it, you never took care of this problem. It snowballed into a bigger situation. Now you're in a whole bigger problem, right? And I don't like to get into problems. I don't like for people to face problems. That's why I always try to provide solutions. And one of the solutions I just tell people is get your credit right. If you get your credit right, you could just tap into thousands of dollars into money. You could buy shit now. You could go get that apartment you want. It might take you 2 or 3 years, but who cares? Who gives a fuck? I don't care if you're 25 and until 28 you got your credit right. You got a 700. Just get your ass to that 700. You feel me? Whatever you do, get your ass to that 700. I don't care if you stop having fun for a year or 2 years. You go lonely because you're in your grind mode. I don't care. Pay off that damn credit card bills, because when you get to 30, 35, 40, 55, that shit's going to look crazy on your credit card. It's going to look crazy on your credit report. You got the damn credit card you never paid off. Now your credit is plummeted and you can't even get a fucking house. You got to rent your whole life. So that's not a good feeling when you can't have something to call for yourself. So once again, I appreciate you guys for listening to Roll the Balance podcast. Yeah, I did a little rant, and I know I gave off a little bit of a daddy vibe, telling people, hey, this is what you got to do. But I'm not going to say daddy, pause. I'm going to say dad. Cool. This is what you got to do, man. This is the reality of things. I hate to break it to you guys, but a lot of you guys aren't where you want to be at because you're focused on bullshit. And a lot of people who listen to my podcast are where they want to be at because they focus on the positives. They know what they have to do. You don't have to go on a damn trip because YOLO. No, stop saying that shit, because you're going to come YOLO back, and this might be your only chance now to make things right. If you make it back. If you have enough money to pay for your rent. Some people I don't know how the fuck they pay for the rent. They go on trips every month, but that's another story for another day. We're going to talk about it. We're going to be real about it. If you don't have it, don't do it. If you got it, ball out. And that's all I tell people. So once again, I appreciate you guys for listening to Roll the Business podcast. Check out my other episodes, you guys, because people been asking me a lot of the questions that I talk about in these other episodes. I talk about it. And if you don't find the episode, look through it. I have 21 seasons, 22 seasons. I don't know. I think I'm on 21 seasons right now. I'm going to do 22 seasons in the next few months. So, like I said, I'm going to have some new guest people as well. I've been kind of working on my own space, working on my own lonely right now, a lot of things. And once I'm done with a few projects, you guys, I'm going to re-invite some people to my space, my own personal space, and, give them the mic, let them speak about their experience with entrepreneurship and let them give you guys the real from their perspective. So once again, I appreciate you guys for listening to Roll the Business podcast. It's been an amazing journey, and you guys take care.